Today being February the 3rd, 2020. I had an interesting encounter today with Joe Madison on SirriusXM on his program, The Black Eagle, which is on channel 126. I called him at about 9:15 a.m. His program runs from 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. in the morning. And I took a chance and called him at about 9:15 or so. And I told his call screener my name, and I also told the screener rather, that I was a Trump supporter and that I was an evangelical. So the screener said, okay, put me on hold. At about 9:30, after he came back on, well, actually a little bit before 9:30, there's a system there where you can be listening to the program while you are waiting. And I heard him say just before the break at 9:30, we have George from Detroit, and he wants to talk about why he supports Donald Trump. Then he says, I can't wait for this. And then so they went on break, come back after the break, and he comes on. He says, now we got a caller from Detroit, George from Detroit, who claims why he is a Trump supporter. So he comes on, clicks me on. He says, George, you there? Why are you calling my show? Now this is him still speaking. Why are you calling my show talking about you a Trump supporter? You in Michigan and the farmers are suffering this, that, and the other. People are losing their houses, finding bankruptcies and stuff like that. In Flint, the people are poisoning the water in Flint. I mean, he runs off a whole list of things before he even gives me a chance to say what I had to say, at least as far as greeting him. He ran this down for about 30 or 40 seconds or so, and then he stopped, and I came on. I said, well, Joe, first of all, thank you for taking my call. And then I said, and by the way, congratulations on your induction into, now I said the Broadcasters Hall of Fame. He corrected me and said, no, it's the Talk Show Host Hall of Fame. But then after he said that, and then he said, thank you for for your comment. But then he goes right back into, don't you know about blah, 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 this, that, and the other. And he rattled off all these problems and things that's going on in the country, but more specifically in Michigan, since I'm from Detroit. And then he said, why would you support Donald Trump? And I told him, I said, because Donald Trump is the lesser of two evils. And then he responded, he said, well, what is the number one evil? I told him the Democratic Party. Then he starts off rattling all this stuff down on me again. And by the time he got through with that, he said goodbye and hung up. That was the gist of the conversation that I had with him on his show. Now, the reason why I'm recording this is that if by chance you get a chance to listen to his talk show on XM, Sirius XM, channel 126, Urban Talk Radio, if he has some archives, I want you to pull up the archive that was created on February the 3rd, 2020, and listen to the segment at around about part of the segment around about 9:30 or so you can listen to how this man talked to me. Now, here's the thing. The reason why I'm saying this is because of this. Over the past couple of months on Twitter and on Facebook, and even on his talk show, I've been hearing him talk about evangelicals supporting Donald Trump. And since he knows primarily that evangelicals are Christians who adhere to the principles of the Bible, or what the Bible has to say about how we should live our lives, the decisions that we make, how we go about making them, which basically means that we always look at the situations the way that God looks at them. We don't look at them the way the black community looks at them. We don't look at them the way the Republicans look at them. We don't look at them the way that different denominations of the churches look at them. We don't look at them the way that the Democrats, or like I said, the Democrats or the Republicans. In other words, we don't look at them according to how man looks at them, because man inherently looks at situations outside of God. They look at them according to the carnal mentality, which means they look at the problem and try to find solutions to the problem outside of God. Evangelicals look at it and try to solve the problems in line with what God has to say needs to be done to solve the problem. Now, the thing is, Joe Madison, who prides himself evidently on having a third eye, to when people call in on his show, he's always willing to let him talk for a minute or so to get a handle on what they're doing, what they're thinking, and then he'll discuss the issues with them, at least to give them the chance to explain themselves. He didn't do that with me, and the only reason why I can figure he didn't do it with me is because of the fact that I told his screener I was an evangelical. And see, I'm like this. You can keep on talking about me and running me down and as an evangelical all you want. But if you got a talk show and you consistently, I guess he figured evangelicals don't listen to his show or follow him on Facebook or anything like that, or Twitter, so he can say what he pleases, and he doesn't have to deal with the repercussions of somebody coming on his show and confronting him about it. He tends to think, well, I got this show, I run this show, I can do what I want to do, say what I want to say. Nobody else can do what I do, blah, 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 this, that, and other. Well, guess what? When he probably looked at his screen and saw George and saw Evangelical up there, you know what he did? He got scared. That's what he did, because if he got scared because somebody had come into his backyard, come into his little haven of fortress of solitude coming through the door now, going to come in and take care and confront him on the issue. He got scared. He didn't want to deal with it. So he snapped a few things, and then instead of giving me a chance to explain my position on the issue, he hung up the phone. And that just goes to show just how pitiful these liberals are. They can't handle the truth. He always is playing that segment of the movie A Few Good Men where Jack Nicholson's character, after Tom Cruise talks about he wants the truth, Jack Nicholson's character says, "You can't handle the truth." Well, Joe Madison, whoever might get his tape to you or whatever it is for you to listen to, you can't handle the truth. You can't handle facts. Like I said, the Black Eagle, he might be a Black Eagle flying high above the crowd and the masses, and with his eagle eye, he can see all these little things. But you know what? He's flying off in the wrong direction because he can't handle the truth. He can't handle the fact that he's showing himself to be nothing more than a chicken. You know, that's what we used to call people that were afraid to deal with, bullies and so forth. He's a chicken. And see, the thing is, it's not the fact that I'm a bully. I'm just a chicken, if you want to look at it like that, that's confronting the eagle, and the eagle backed down and ran off and hid somewhere. Went up and flew up in his nest up in the mountains and stayed up there for a while until he could get some peace of mind, see if this little chicken down here backed off and run off somewhere. So I don't know whether somebody will forward this message. I'm going to send this to him on Twitter. I'm going to send it to his email thing, his email box, and see what he's got to say about this. Because, you can remember back on 9/11 when we were attacked, everybody thought that because George Bush was so mild-mannered and peaceful and quiet and so forth, that George Bush was all talk and no action. And that's why the terrorists attacked us in the first place. But what did George Bush do? George Bush said, okay, you want to go this route? What did he do? He froze all the assets and things of these countries that sponsored terrorism. But then he turned around and sent our troops over into the terrorists' backyard, and the terrorists had to quit looking at fighting America on our soil. They had to protect their homeland because we went into their backyard and started kicking some behind over there. And that's what Joe is afraid of might happen here. That's why he ran and hid an eagle that's a chicken. Now that's something else. I'm out of here. Have a blessed day.